Hi everyone, I'm Rick Zanotti, and this is Tech Down Over. And we are back, and I'm joined by Harold Mugliotti. What I'm holding here may be the ultimate little blogging camera. It's been out for about a year. We just got it. So for us, it's new. It's a great little camera. This is the Canon Rebel SL3. SL3. Now, it may look kind of big on the monitor. It's really not that big at all. This is not that big a lens. This is the 10 to 18 millimeter lens, so it's very wide. And it does great for blogging. It's not very heavy at all. You can hold this for quite a while. You won't get tired. You have a tilt screen, comes out, goes in. You can hold it pretty easily this way. So there's a big gap. It's an indentation right there where the screen is. When you pop it out, here's the button for recording right there. And it makes it pretty easy. If I turn it on, so I'm in video mode right now. So if you're going into recording, let me put this back so you can see it. So you see what I would normally be seeing. Harold, does that look okay? Can you see it?
We're
okay.
seeing your picture
So
on the...
this is what you would see normally. As a blogger, you can bring your hand closer, you can bring further. We're at the 10 point, F10, I'm sorry, the 10 millimeter point right now. At 18, it's a little closer. I can bring it into 18. I think that's at 18. So a little bit closer. I can't see it because I've got this backwards, but you can see what it's doing. But at 10, you get really a wide shot, and you're in there. So this is really good, having the tilt screen. You can tilt it in many directions, up, down, sideways, pop it out, turn it so you can see it. Very good for blogging. Now, Harold and I have been playing with this for a couple of weeks. I think we got it a couple of weeks ago. We probably haven't had enough time to really go out and do a lot of filming and stuff because we're all under lockdown. That's right, COVID-19. Isn't it fun? So being under lockdown, we can't do everything we'd like to do, but we're okay. We're actually at work. We can work. There's not many people here in the office, so we're good. Why would you get this? Well, the price of this camera is only $549. This is cheaper than the Canon G7X Mark III, which is a very riddled with issues camera. Even after they fixed it with their new firmware, it's still not good. Focus is still kind of lousy, soft. We had that and turned it back in after a month, couldn't take it. I wanted that to work. It's a great little camera. That one has a built-in lens. This one you have to have replaceable lenses, but you don't need a lot of lenses for this. You can do it with really a couple of lenses and you've got everything you need. This 10 to 18 is a great zoom for blogging. You can get with the kit lens, which is the 18 to 55 millimeter. That's a pretty good little zoom. It's actually smaller than the 10 to 18 in terms of size. And you can have something like a 24 millimeter. I think it's an f2.8.
Yeah, it's an f2.8 on that one.
And that one, again, it's a pancake lens. It's really teeny. It's like a little over an inch. So if you look at this lens like this, it only comes out to like about here. Really teeny. That doesn't make it all that much smaller than a G7X Mark III. But this is a little bit bigger and wider. It has a nice grip. I mean, I've got pretty big hands, and it's comfy. I don't know if I don't think there's a battery grip for this one. You probably wouldn't need it. No, in fact, there isn't because you couldn't open the card slot. Down here is where the card slot is. You got the card and the battery all in here. Let me see if I can show you. Probably not as easily because I'm technically on right now. And there we go. Yeah, we're on. What do you think of it, Harold?
I think it's small and light, but it does have a good it has good ergonomics on it. I mean, it's it feels good in the hand. As you can see there, it's got a nice amount of grip to the right side there. So when you're holding it, it's
you
not.
You see the grip. It's pretty. I mean, like you said, pretty big hands. I fit well here.
sometimes with smaller cameras, it feels like there's not enough to hold on,
Yeah.
and it feels almost like it's going to fall out of your hand. That's not a problem with this one. And like I said, it is lighter, but it has a good sensor in there. It takes
This is like I think it's the ADD sensor, if I'm not wrong. It's a 24.2 megapixel sensor, Canon color. It looks great. Actually, do you want to show some of the? Well, actually, here's a video I took a couple of minutes ago in the office.
Here we go.
So this is a quick test of the Canon SL3. I am hand holding this right now. I'm using the Canon 10 to 18 millimeter lens. I'm at 10 right now, which is probably about 15 or 18 on the camera. So I just walked into our studio and just kind of walking around. I should do a pretty good job with just about any kind of blogging. It's a very good blogging camera. I've got the tilt screen out. Now it's going to be really bright in here, so I may burn out for a second because I'm right in front of the bright light. But I am in the studio right now. I'm going to walk behind this chair we have. You can see as I move this way that we've got cameras, lights. I'm pointing up there. You can see the lights. This does a pretty good job. I like it. We had that Canon, I think it was G7X Mark III, and returned it because it had all sorts of problems with focus and overheating and you name it. This one is a little bigger, but I tell you, it is a great size for a blogging camera, and it does a very clean job on the videos, photos. Photo quality is great. This is as good as probably an ADD. In fact, I think it's the same chip as probably the ADD, or the same sensor. It really does a clean job on this. So, again, this is the control room part of the studio, as you can see back there. And so that kind of gives you an idea of what this looks like using this camera. Thanks.
And as Rick mentioned in there, being an APS-C camera, it does have a crop. So like if you're used to full frame, for example, you'll have to keep that in mind. You can put on EF lenses natively, but there will be a crop. For example, the 24 millimeter that we were talking about, it's going to be equivalent to about 36 millimeter, and if you get a 50 millimeter, it's going to be more like a 75 in terms of field of view and that sort of thing when you're using it.
It's fun. Actually, I bought this for my wife. She wanted to learn how to shoot pictures and video because she doesn't know what the heck we're talking about half the time. And I don't think I've given it to her yet. It's been 2 weeks. I think she hasn't touched it yet. She hasn't wanted to either. We're too busy trying to figure out what's happening. We're in California. We're in total lockdown, kind of. And so she's too nervous. But anyway, I've been having fun with it. We took some pictures with different lenses. For example, there's some cloudscapes we took the other day. We're having some beautiful weather here with rain and clouds. And these were taken with the 70 to 200 millimeter Canon version 3 lens. That's a full frame lens. This camera supports EF full frame and EFS crop sensor lenses with no adapter. It's pretty darn well done. The only thing I've noticed that's a difference is with the full frame, it doesn't beep when you have focus for some odd reason. But you do get beep on the other one, but it does focus just as well. That's the only thing we noticed that isn't quite right. Or maybe that was by design. I'm not sure. So you can see a lot of these pictures. It's real easy. It doesn't have image stabilization, but the lenses often do. And so that makes up for it. But even still, it's a smaller camera. It seems to be stable enough just holding it. It's not real shaky. And well, you saw that the 10 to 18 has stabilization, and that's like about a less than $200 lens or 200 and something dollar lens. You don't need expensive lenses on this, and it runs really well.
Yeah, it's as you can see, the color reproduction is good. It gets good contrast. I mean, it does have compared to some of the things like the 90D or something like that, it has a lower uh, pixel dimensions. It's a 24.1 or something, I think.
24.2, I think.
24.2 megapixel, but that's going to be good for a lot of stuff unless you tend to do heavy cropping, so just keep that in mind.
Now, Harold did notice something, that the ISO only goes in full steps. So,
Yeah, it doesn't seem, at least not that we've found so far, and it doesn't seem to give you away in the manual to do the thing that a lot of other Canon cameras will do, which is let you change ISO in increments of 1/3 stops. It only seems to do full stop.
so in essence, if you're in a dark place, it may get brighter than you want. You may have to open your shutter a little bit more, or your aperture, depending on how you're set up and what your lighting conditions are. So the ISO, while good, it does have 25,000 ISO, the high, and it looks actually not too bad for a small little camera. It's got pretty good ISO, and it just doesn't have it in smaller increments. So keep that in mind. When you jump from one to another, it's a full step. So you'll notice it went from dark to, whoa, it's bright all of a sudden. Not a horrible problem. It's just something to be aware of, because it may require some other adjustments if you're in a very dark place. So that's just something to keep in mind, so that you don't run into a situation where you go, oh, I can't adapt this well, or I can't fix it. All the shots you were looking at earlier, they were all taken in camera, no adjustments. That's how it came out of camera. So it does have very nice color. The Canon color is always good. And it does also have pretty good focus, and it seems to have pretty good handling and metering as far as lighting goes. Not a bad camera. $549 for the base price of it. We got ours from Sammy's Camera in Los Angeles. We love Sammy's. Larry Leratana is our sales rep. We don't get a penny for saying this. We just love them. They're good people. We worked with them for years. I've actually worked with Larry for 20 years, if you can believe it. 20 years. And he was just like 12 years old when we started working with him. He's actually a little older than that, but he was young when he started. Now he's looking old. He's just beat now. He's a good guy. Larry Leratana at Sammy's. He's part of their cinema group. Used to be part of the regular, more retail stuff. He's more in the big stuff now, but he still sells us the little things. And he sold us the C200 we're filming on right now. He sold us a lot of gear. So, any other closing comments, Harold, on this little cute
Not too
vlogging
much.
camera?
I think we may have mentioned it already. It only has one card slot, so just keep that in mind. It shouldn't be a problem for a lot of the time.
No.
The batteries are tiny, but they actually give you a pretty good life. How
get
long
about
would
3
you say?
hours.
Yeah, about 3
You know,
hours. Or something.
I had this battery. I think I charged it on a Friday, and Sunday, actually Monday, I finally changed it. And I did quite a few shots. I must have done about 300 shots or more, plus about 10 different videos. It didn't do badly at all. I was actually surprised how well it was lasting. And then eventually we just put in a new one. And this one's been lasting almost about 4 days already.
Yeah.
Again, not a lot of shooting, but enough that, and plus I hook it up to the TV many times when I'm at home reviewing things. So it's on battery while I'm reviewing for maybe half hour, 40 minutes. I go off and do something else. Still works. Not bad. It's pretty good battery life for this, considering. It uses the same battery as the M5.
I believe
The
so. Yeah.
M6, I think. I think it's the same battery. It's small. You wouldn't think it would give you that, but people were complaining on the SL2. This is the SL3. The SL2 didn't give you that many shots. This one can give you almost 1,000 shots. The other one gave you 300. Same battery, different sensor. Well, a little bit different sensor, not much. It's the same sensor. The firmware is a little bit different. They tweaked it.
And yeah, it's the little rectangular LPE17 batteries. If you're curious.
Yeah, cute.
Yeah, I mean this thing gives you a lot for your dollar, I think.
Yeah, and again, you can get a kit with the 18 to 55 millimeter. It's not a bad little lens. It's also stabilized. It's an EFS lens. The 24 megapixels, a very good lens for this. The 10 to 18 is also a very good lens. That's the one we have right here. And and then it runs any of the EFS lenses. Oh, there's also a good 50 millimeter f1.8, which is the nifty 50 for Canon. It's only about $120, and it's a nice f1.8. It's not bad at all. It takes good shots. So there you go. Great little camera. You don't have to spend a fortune to have a good camera. Great travel camera, great blogging camera. Fun.
Yeah.
Have a good one, everyone. If you have any comments, look below. We are not getting paid by anyone to say anything about this. We just like it. It's a good camera, and this could work for you. Very easy. The controls are easy, too. Very easy to learn them. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
This is the perfect camera for the COVID virus. You can take